going to be talking a little bit about spring and things that happen in the spring. And one thing, of course, is April showers, as they say. April showers bring me flowers. Yesterday was a very rainy day, and I remember when my children were about your age, one of their favorite things to do is to jump in puddles, especially if you're wearing nice rubber boots and the puddles don't really get you wet, which is the only time that you really want to jump in a puddle. So I'm going to be reading a poem that was one of my favorites when I was little called Umbrella Brigade. Pitter-patter falls the rain on the schoolroom window pane. Such a splashing, such a dashing. Will it ever be dry again? Down the gutter rolls a flood, and the crossings deep in mud. And the puddles, oh the puddles, are a sight to stir one's blood. But let it rain, tree toads and frogs, muskets and pitchforks, kittens and dogs. Dash away, splash away, who is afraid? Here we go, the Umbrella Brigade. Pull the boots up the knee, tie the hoods on merrily. Such a hustling, such a jostling, out of breath with fun are we. Clitter, clatter down the street, greeting everyone we meet, with our laughing and our chaffing, which the laughing drops repeat. So we are going to be creating our own Umbrella Brigade collage today. A collage is an image you make out of cut paper. And for the piece that is pictured in your lesson, I used just marker. I'm going to also show you how to do it in watercolor if you have watercolor paper and watercolors handy, but you can definitely just do it in marker or colored pencil too. And you will also, I'm using some black, you need a piece of black construction paper, and you want to pick out 3 different colors of other construction paper. And to help us get inspired, we're going to look at this famous painting by Gustave Caillebotte, who is a French artist. He was part of the French Impressionist movement around the turn of the century. And let's look closely at his umbrella here that he drew, that this gentleman is holding. You can see how it's in these 3 sections, and one section is very dark, one section is kind of a light gray, and the next section is kind of a nice white. And he does that when artists do that. It's called value, when they go from light to dark, and it helps to create a sense of depth. So we're going to be thinking about that when we choose our colors of construction paper. You can see in this one that I used yellow, orange, and red, and if you squint at them, you'll see that the yellow comes up kind of white, the orange sort of a middle gray, and the red is a darker color. You could do the same with red, purple, and blue. If you wanted, you could do it with green and yellow, and if you had like a yellowy green for your middle color. But pick 3 colors that you like and that are going to sort of have a light and a sort of gray tone and a dark tone to them. And so for your first step, you want to follow the steps I gave you to draw your umbrella. And so that's basically a big arc, or like a C shape. And then you're going to make kind of a U shape. And then you want to connect your sections with these nice other C shapes to create your umbrella. And if you want to, you can even make the little points. And there's the top of your umbrella. And then you're going to want to cut it into 3 sections. As neatly as you can. And so over here, I have my 3 sections cut out of my umbrella. So you can see if I put these together, hopefully, I'll get my umbrella again. What's going on? Thank you. All right. So you can see that, it's easy to get confused. So, I'm going to trace these using them kind of like stencils. I'm going to cut one out of each color. my red. And then I'm going to do my purple. And I'm not going to glue these on yet because I want to cut out my silhouette. And you can make your silhouette of a child jumping more complicated if you want. I made it relatively simple, but you want to... Oh, a silhouette is a very simple, like how someone would look if you saw them and the light was shining behind them, and it makes a very simple kind of dark image. Artists use them to basically to express an interesting idea in an abstract way, so that this could be any child jumping. You could add a dress or a skirt if you wanted. Now you'll notice with this, because I had to draw with a yellow marker so you could see, I have some yellow lines that I might want to get rid of. Well, maybe they'll be okay. Hopefully yours won't have yellow lines because you'll be drawing in pencil. So there is my silhouette of a child jumping. Then you want to think about what color your boots are. And so I think I'm going to do red boots. So I'm going to get my red construction paper out. And I showed you some steps here on how to draw some simple boots. So it's sort of like an L shape that you start with, and then you want to make it more rounded. And you want to have a nice little heel to your boot, and then you want to think about the boot behind it. And then you can go ahead and cut that out. And again, you will have worked in pencil so you can erase your lines. Collage always looks better if you don't see your lines. So you can see with this one that I drew in pencil, and it's pretty hard to see the lines. I might erase them for my finished piece, but I wanted you to be able to see where I was drawing. So there I have my child jumping with their umbrella. You can't see their face or their arm because the umbrella is covering most of them. It's a nice big umbrella. I might add the little edges to it. So now I can go ahead and glue it down. So you'll notice I haven't been gluing down yet because it's important the order that I glue things down. So I'm going to glue my silhouette down first. And let's see, so here I go. If you feel like you'll have trouble remembering where it goes, you can always trace it before you glue it down. then I'm going to glue down my umbrella using my little guide there. And it's okay if your umbrella goes off the paper a little bit. A brigade in the poem, The Umbrella Brigade, is a group of children or a parade of children, so perhaps you might want to add another piece of paper with more children jumping in umbrellas. So if it goes over the edge, that's okay. Maybe that will be a fun addition to the next piece if you want to keep going with that idea. So there's my boots. And then you want to think about the rain. So in this particular one, I drew the rain with my marker, just making lots of swirls. Of course, the umbrella is keeping the rain from getting underneath the person jumping. You can also do the rain with colored pencil. You can do it with watercolor. So I have glued everything to some watercolor paper. And I'm going to make the rain with some watercolor. So if you want to do it that way, you can do it that way too. You could use watercolor pencil, which is kind of a fun material to use, where you draw with the colored pencil and then add water. So I could make these big stripes of blue, or I could make lots of little drops. You could make the little drips coming off the umbrella. For the puddle, it's basically kind of just these nice little swirls kind of going up where the child is jumping with some nice little drips coming up. So have fun with it, whatever material you're using. And then you can add a fun design to your umbrella if you want. I'm gonna draw some little swirls on this person's umbrella. They have a kind of a swirly design with maybe stripes on their boots. It might be nice to add some yellow. I think I'm going to add some little yellow centers. So I'm really excited to see the design of umbrella that you come up with. And then, if you end up doing two, you could glue them together and you have an umbrella brigade. Looking forward to seeing what you come up with.